Oh, is Peter doing the intro again today too? You guys
No.
are getting me wound up.
I'm sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike.
Do you know what episode we're doing, Peter?
Would you kindly do this
No.
enshittification? Oh, almost so close.
I'm off camera.
Some sort of reaction videos.
We're gonna watch a video of Cory Doctorow's presentation at DEF CON 31. This is from like September, October timeframe about the enshittification of the internet, which is super good. You're at that event?
No, I got it right. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sure. So it's a really good video, and I definitely recommend watching the whole thing. Did you guys look at it, or is this a cold reaction?
Oh yeah, no, I watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Cool. So his premise is that basically the internet is a mess, and he actually provides a few legitimate, like, tangible things that we could look at to address the situation. Let's see if I can load the video to get this set up here.
Platform sits between those two different groups and mediates
between them. We can't see it.
Do you remember when we said that the internet was going to disintermediate everything? It did disintermediate everything, and then it promptly reintermediated everything. Platforms are just intermediaries. Now, here's how a platform dies. First, it's good to its users. Then, it abuses those users to make things better for business customers. Finally, it abuses the business customers to claw back all the value that had once been allocated to those end users and then to those business customers, allocates it to themselves, and then there's no value left. It turns into a pile of shit and it dies.
The sooner the better. So it's go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, go on. No. He's got a point.
Yeah, the argument that he lays out is they get users, and I think he kind of talks through this whole thing, but they get users with promises of privacy and connection to loved ones, so people join, and then they benefit from the network effect, so they get their friends and neighbors to join, and then they're kind of locked in with each other because of a high switching cost. Then Facebook goes to the advertisers and says, hey, we've got all these people. We lied about privacy to them, but do you want to show them ads? And the advertisers say, sure. But then they go to the publishers and say, hey, we lied about showing people content they would subscribe to. Do you want to show them content? And then they take away publishers' ability to link to the outside. So now everybody's locked in. And he describes it as a situation where we're all holding each other hostage and responding by taking more hostages.
Okay, he's 100% right. This is 100% right. I'm not the biggest fan of Cory Doctorow. I do like him, and he makes a lot of really good points. It's just the sort of style and the delivery that I kind of sometimes is a bit of a barrier to me. Although he's very what do you call it? Fluent in his talking, of course. Anyway, he makes a good point. That is exactly what happens, and it seems like people have figured out that that's really the only way to run a company these days. You have to have massive growth at the beginning, and the only way to do that is promise free stuff. And then at some point, you have the reality of business sets in, and you're losing tons of money, and you actually have to start making money. And it's either an exit to some other bigger company, which is doing that same shitty stuff already, or start doing the same shitty stuff. It's a scaling issue, right?
Yep.
You can't keep giving stuff for free and having a good ethos and keep growing and making money unless you're doing something smaller.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
No, that was me saying.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Because of the comment.
The disintermediation point is also interesting because we talked a couple months ago about the nature of search engines, because when the internet started, it was a bunch of individual sites with people collecting links and linking out to other sites. And the point of a search engine was so that you could find content across this vast network. But now all content exists on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Like, that's where you find everything.
Someone was pointing. Do you know Linktree? Yeah, so it's a site linktree.ee, and basically it's a really basic thing where you basically it's basic You just have a links to your like Instagram profile.
It's
Facebook
just
page,
a personal
LinkedIn.
aggregator for links.
Yeah, basically. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And someone said this exists because Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn decided that real links don't exist. And that's true. As soon as you get onto one of those platforms, it's so difficult to get out of them. They try and keep you in. Even like LinkedIn reformats all of its links to link.in or something like that. And they want you to stay there. And it sucks. It's like, if you're not paying your other products, that's such a truism. It's always been true. But
the answer to that, right? The answer to that, if we use Netflix or any of the streaming services as examples, you're paying and you're still the product. So they get to now do both, right? Look at Discord, same problem. Even if when you're paying for like Nitro and stuff. Yeah.
And we just saw with, who did we talk about last week, that they were offering a paid ad version. Who was that? Was that
Netflix?
One of the streaming services. I don't think it was Netflix.
Apple? No, no, I don't remember.
I don't remember who it was. I just signed up for Disney and Hulu, and they do the same thing. Yeah, it was Amazon Prime. That's right. But I signed up for Hulu and Disney on their bundle, and they do the same thing. You can buy their basic ad-supported plan that you pay for, or you can upgrade to the premium plan that has no ads. So they're definitely getting you on both sides. Okay, the preconditions of enshittification.
But when 3 criteria are satisfying, enshittification always ensues. The first is a general lack of competition. 40 years ago, the Carter administration started pulling Jenga blocks out of American antitrust enforcement. Then Reagan started pulling them out by the fistful. And every administration since, but not including the Biden administration, has continued.
He doesn't elaborate on that, what he means by not including the Biden administration, and I didn't really go look it up. But if anybody has information on that, let me know.
To nerf.
My guess is what he wants to say.
Progressively weaker.
What was that, John?
My guess is that what he wants to say is that nobody put the blocks back, maybe besides the Biden administration.
Yeah, I don't know. If that's true, it's not clear to me exactly what he's referring to.
Yeah.
How Peter shared some opinions on Cory also, but we agree with his point that he's making, at least here. All right, preconditions of enshittification.
Until every industry, not just tech, is dominated by a tiny handful of companies. Whether we're talking about pharma, health insurance, appliances, athletic shoes, books, booze, drugstores, office supplies, eyeglasses, vitamin C, bottle caps, airlines, railroads, rental cars, mattresses, champagne, candy, and professional wrestling. These companies grew by doing things that were illegal until the 1980s, which is not coincidentally the time that we got the first PCs. PCs, right. The internet, and antitrust drawdown, all those phenomena occurred at the same time. Tech is the first industry in a century to be born even as antitrust was getting weaker. Now,
all right.
I mean, yeah, he's got points.
He just described capitalism, right? The fight to the top, the fight to the monopoly. Like, yes, antitrust is like what Peter.
Sorry, another Jay's just pointing out something. A point I was going to make or talk about actually, which was that the only disinterested people, the only people who aren't trying to make money out of these kind of things, is the government, right? Or they're not disinterested; they have their own interest in, controlling what people do. But it does seem like John's going to laugh, and Mike will love this. The EU could potentially come up with a.
Oh my god!
Yeah, when when I message my friend that I paid someone in cash, the fucking European Union's going to literally spit roast me.
But
because
they're not.
Yes, they literally are.
No.
Like so many European Union countries like pursue financial crimes like it's none other, like it's a fucking, like I just committed capital murder. Is the
EU countries, not the EU itself.
Yes, exactly.
The individual countries.
And those countries are going to use this EU bullshit to spy on their fucking citizens. Classic.
just don't think that's okay. Right, that's a whole. I should not have brought it up. It's definitely a whole other episode.
You should have known better than to fucking say that.
Oh god, we should have like an EU versus US cage fight. I think that's what we need to do. Although you can't bring any guns to it.
I'm an EU citizen, Peter.
I know, but you're a traitor to the country. You've gone ahead and got yourself a US residence.
Oh
there.
boy.
God bless America.
All right, I keep going.
Another property, an irreducible feature that operates as the anti-network effect, which is low switching costs, which are driven by universality. Because we only know how to make one computer, right? The Turing-complete universal von Neumann machine that can run all the software we know how to write. We don't know how to make a computer that runs all the programs except for the one that makes your shareholders sad. We just know how to make that one. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't see people showing up every year at cons like this going like, hey, guess what? I figured out how to write malware in PostScript, right? So that means that every software-driven product or service is liable to adversarial interoperability. That's when a hacker uses reverse engineering, scraping, and bots to plug something in that the OEM doesn't want plugged in. Remember that Facebook case study? When Facebook was telling MySpace users that they needed to escape Rupert Murdoch's evil, crapulent Australian social media panopticon, it didn't just say to those MySpacers, hey, fuck your friends, come to Facebook and just hang out looking at our cool new UI until they show up. Instead, it gave them a bot. You fed the bot your login credentials, and it would go to MySpace and pretend to be you, and it would scrape the things waiting in your inbox, and it would copy them into your Facebook inbox, and then you could reply to it and paste it back into your MySpace outbox.
Good luck doing that to get away from Facebook.
Man, the guy's delivery is like.
I'm so with you. Like people who talk like that, like, why did he say OEM? Why couldn't you have just called them manufacturers? Like, next you're gonna call fucking CPUs PCs and or PCs CPUs. Like,
it was a talk for the DEF CON audience. I think
like a forced. You don't need to say that. They all know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think even the term "shitification" is like, just trying a bit hard. But for a lot of people, it's really good. And I remember when I used to love this kind of stuff when I was, 16 as well. So,
yeah.
Sorry, Cory Doctorow. I hope you're not watching this. I know you're not, but
and he's not.
Yeah, but Panop's going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then he kind of gets into how to break it up. I don't know if I have any more clips, but the main thing he talks about is strengthening antitrust laws, which, yes, John, you're absolutely right. The end result of capitalism is monopoly every single time. That's the whole point.
With a worst case scenario of a duopoly, right?
Yeah. So break apart the social media part from the advertising part of a company. Don't let them collude with each other, so that the social media part of the company actually has.
Or listen.
Sorry?
I said, don't let them stop or collaborate or listen.
Is that a MC Hammer reference?
Maybe, I don't know. It's not going down very well.
Or is it MC Hammer? Or is that's Vanilla Ice? That's right.
No, okay.
Stop,
carry on.
collaborate, and listen. All right, I got you. I got you. Which I would love. And antitrust law across all industries really is something that we could use a lot more enforcement of. He talks about end worker misclassification due to the gig economy, super important. Comprehensive privacy laws, blah, 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 blah. I know.
That's all we fucking talk about.
Consumer protections. But then the big one is what he was mentioning there, adversarial interoperability. Allowing people to hack your systems, kind of disallowing these systems from being so completely closed.
I didn't really get his point about only knowing how to make one computer, and because we only know how to make that one computer, they're by default hackable kind of thing. They're going to end up hackable.
It was part of a longer segment, but I think what he's talking about is because the systems don't know how to talk to each other, they end up being walled gardens that you're trapped into.
Right.
It's like if you
Right.
want everybody to migrate from Windows to Linux, you kind of can't do that without providing the porting tools and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I don't think that's not the problem as I see it. It's the problem is that you start off with something simple that has one specific purpose, and then more and more features get added onto it, and it ends up like this. It's not that we started out deciding that we're going to make it this complex
A
system.
vendor locking nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, it just it's a sort of natural consequence of people wanting to make things more flexible, I suppose, rather than just I don't think we started off like this.
So how much of that has to do with the monopoly aspect of it? So like you could say Facebook as a platform that's just strictly the social media part of it. Yes, they want to add features that facilitate sharing and engagements and all those things. Does that aspect of it inherently lock you in?
Yeah, I suppose they want to be as much of a walled garden as they can get away with. They don't want people to move away, and the only reason they ever add any features which allow people to kind of interact with the rest of the internet is because other people have done that, and people will switch away from their platform if they don't add those features as well.
Yeah.
So it's a tight balancing act of like, okay, we're going to do the very minimum. It's like regulatory compliance. They'll do enough not to be behaving illegally, but no more unless it looks good.
Yeah.
Everything is in the interests of making money at the end of the day. And I don't know. But to go back to the question of a government-run social media platform, the problem with that isn't going to be the fact that, I don't know whether they're going to be monitoring your messages or not. It's going to be the most boring social media platform ever that's going to be designed by a committee of, I don't know, tripartisan, multicultural, multilingual, it'll take forever and it'll be rubbish. Is the problem, not that people are going to be monitoring it. So the thing about capitalism is that it does create products that people want to use because there's a financial incentive, right? People want to use Facebook.
Yeah.
And
I just wish if there was a way to make the incentive for the benefit of the people, not just the benefit of the shareholders.
So there's this thing, I've mentioned this a bunch of times about my friend James, who he's a consultant, he does web development. I don't know what he does these days, actually. I haven't caught up with him in a while. But in his contracts with the people he was doing work for, he used to include a clause that says that they have to care about him and he has to care about them, about their well-being. And that's basically it. Like, it's not a financial contractual clause. It's not anything to do with anti-competition or legal requirements or anything like that. It's just they have to care about each other. And I think this is a wonderful thing to include in a contract. I don't think it is very easy to legally enforce, and I don't think it would ever really come to that. But it would. It's the fact that it's there in the first place, I think, is significant because it kind of makes it a point. And that I think that a lot of things in contracts aren't like evidence-based. When you say that you're going to make a good product that satisfies their needs, you would have to go to lawyers and a court to be able to say whether that's true or not, whether you've actually done what's needed. So if you're trying to prove whether you actually care about someone or not, you'd have the same problem, kind of thing.
Yeah. So this is our heaviest episode of the week. We did predictions. We did some good news. Tomorrow we're going to do some TikTok reaction videos. If you enjoyed this one, you'll love the other ones. So like and subscribe to the show. Come and join us on Discord. We've got an amazing community. We're starting to do more of our recording sessions live like we're doing right now. We're actually doing a YouTube live stream here on New Year's Day to record these sessions. And this has actually been a lot of fun. I think we may end up keep doing this. So we hope to see you out here.